Chapter. We're talking real money.
That's it? That's all there is? Summer's over? That's it? That's all you get here? Really? Yeah, this is how Seattle, this is how I always imagined Seattle would be.
You got to remember Mark Twain once wrote, "The worst winter I ever spent was a summer in the Pacific Northwest." So there you go.
Boy, this is the kind of weather we love here on Talking Real Money, because here's what it tends to do. It gets you off the trails. Although that one trail up near your house,
still busy.
It's pouring rain and people are still out hiking. What is wrong with you people?
Get inside and call us.
Get inside and call Talking Real Money, because we're going to do something that no hike will do. We're going to improve your retirement.
Oh, I was going to say, we're going to give them exercise of some type that we're expecting.
We're going to exercise. Wait, get this. This is a good one. We're going to exorcise the evil financial people from your life if you give us a chance to help you.
I have a sharpener in the other room. Can we do that now?
By the way, you probably don't even realize that you have need of an exorcism, a fiscal exorcism. That's going to be my next commercial.
We've been talking about this for 2 weeks, figuring it out. Financial exorcism.
I'm going to do an exorcism.
Wow. That's heavy.
Oh, this will be good. And just in time for Halloween.
That will go over really well.
Oh, dude, that's my next commercial.
That's good. Yeah, I like it.
No. I got to write that down. You talk.
Okay.
So fiscal exorcism.
Yeah. Oh, I thought it was financial, but fiscal, I don't know, because fiscal means different things, different people. Financial.
Money.
Yeah, it does mean money, but it could mean like a budget or something, or
I got the sound effects and
you could even use the theme.
No, we have to be careful of copyright violations.
Isn't it available now after 80 years or whatever?
It's not 80 years, and it's 96 years. So
we don't got that much time, Your Honor.
I mean, I can't even use the Bride of Frankenstein sound effects. I have
We'll
to
come
find
up with
own.
one, though. We can come up with one. You can come up with one. You can come up with one. I'll see you. I'm headed home, thanks. Yeah.
Who edits the commercials?
Who makes the commercials?
Do you know how to edit them? Do you know how to edit them?
If you had reel to reel, I could do it, because I used to know how to put the tape on there and cut it. And
I bet you don't have that skill anymore. I bet you lost that.
I bet you're right. I bet it didn't have it that well then.
So anyway, hey, welcome to Talking Real Money. Let me give you the phone number so you can get your exorcism. 855-935-TALK, 855-935-8255. I got to make sure I have my phone screening thing open, so when someone calls, I know they're there, because
I make sure I have my phone off.
Yeah, because it could be. Let's turn on Do Not Disturb. There we go. All right. Anyway, we are so glad you joined us.
Give them the number. You said
I said 855-935-TALK.
I wasn't listening.
855. Of course. Are you ever? 855-935-8255. That's the number. Just call it. It's really easy. Did you know? We haven't sung Happy Birthday.
Oh.
There's a big birthday this year. Big birthday.
I don't know which.
Ready? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, dear mutual funds.
Oh.
Happy birthday to you. They're 100 years old this year.
I didn't know that.
1924 saw the first mutual fund created.
Is that the one that the guy on the radio is still using, and that he still says makes him 12% a year? That one?
Probably.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, so we've had mutual funds for 100 years. Back in the olden days.
Should we call Paul Merriman, see if he was invested in the original one or not?
Probably. No,
I'm kidding.
When Paul was a kid.
Hate me for that.
It was around when Paul was a kid.
No, I'm just saying.
Did
he invest?
I know what you said.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah. Paul.
Keeping friends, you
don't do a good job at that. What was I going to say? Mutual funds, 100 years old, and they have evolved over the years.
That they have.
From actively managed, we know more than you do kind of funds, to what has been an astonishing success, the passive style or index or even rules-based mutual funds, not based on trying to be smarter than the market, but kind of just being a variation of the market. Index funds have done really well. However, you haven't done really well with them.
It's so strange.
Why is that? Yeah. That you, as individuals in aggregate, have not done as well with index funds as the funds themselves. When we get back from this break, we want to talk about why you tend to not do as well as just the sheer simplicity of owning the market.
Tom and Don are talking real money.
In medicine, a second opinion might save your life. With investing, a second opinion might save your future. The trick is getting one without a high-pressure sales pitch. Well, I'm Don McDonald, and if you've been listening to Talking Real Money, you know that our goal is to help everyone create a brighter future by investing and managing money better. That's why, in addition to helping everyone on our show and podcast, we are also committed to making our 100% fiduciary advisors at Appella available to help everyone make the best financial decisions based on science. So if you're being pitched a financial product or a system, make sure you get a second opinion with no cost, no obligation, and no annoying sales pitch by going to TalkingRealMoney.com or call 800-386-3004. That's 800-386-3004 or TalkingRealMoney.com.
Your guides to a really great financial future. Tom and Don are talking real money.
You know, you can tell when you're listening to a live show or one that was live and then is turned into a podcast because it's more stream of consciousness stuff. I mean, it's like the whole Exorcism. It's like, whoa.
You hit the idea. We've been working on this for weeks.
I have been struggling because I don't want to replace the pharmaceutical ad.
Which I like very much.
But I wanted to freshen something up and I couldn't come up with an idea. That's the one.
You call us with your idea.
Yeah, you call us with an idea if you have a better idea. If you're, but you better be pretty funny. 855-9, and no pressure because neither of us are. No. 855-935-TALK is our phone number. 855-935-8255. Although I try not to tell dad jokes. Occasionally one will slip out.
And me too, by the way.
Oh, you always try.
Oh, okay. I was going to say.
You live for the dad joke. 855-935-TALK. We're talking about index funds. They are a brilliant, they were a brilliant invention. They're still a brilliant product in that it's kind of a no-brainer. You get the return of the market. And for most people, the return of the market is good enough. Because as individual investors, we have tended to do very badly. Standard & Poor's twice a year compares index funds to active managers.
That's the ones where they're picking stocks or sectors or timing. Yeah,
the
that kind of stuff.
differences there over a decade are extraordinary. It's sometimes, like only 20% of active funds.
And it's usually not the same 20%.
Right. It changes. But there's some new work that shows that, that even those people who own index funds tend not to do as well as the funds.
Yeah, I mean, it is kind of surprising. This comes from Morningstar. The numbers, 10 years ending the end of last year, Morningstar found investors in the aggregate earned 6.3% annually. But that's 1.1% less a year than the funds that they owned, than the index funds. I mean, that is astounding.
So this is index fund investors make more than 1% less every year.
Every year. I mean,
than the funds, if they just did what I think, if they're buying index funds, their intent is to buy and hold, isn't it?
It should be. They, as the article points out, are tempting to trade because people believe what they hear about what's coming next. I got to do something. Oh, and also, of course, sometimes your emotions get the best of you. Go back to the spring of 2020, right? When the world was different and will never be the same.
Oh, yeah, right.
And then that's just regular old plain vanilla index funds. Then you get into sector funds. Now, this is an area we have said repeatedly not to do because people generally buy them after something. What would be the sector you invest in today?
After it's gone up?
But today, what's the hot one you would tell people? AI, right. Yeah. But that's already gone up a lot.
Way up.
But it's even worse for people there. The difference between investor returns and the funds is about 3% a year. 3%.
What are the numbers then?
It only gives the difference. It doesn't give
numbers.
that. Which is even worse. Even worse than the gap at actively managed sector portfolios. In other words, index sectors even do worse than actively managed ones when it comes to the actual investing return. All of this points out a couple of things. Number one, the people that just buy them because they heard it's a great idea, and we know a lot of you, generally do it at the wrong time. And then you generally end up selling at the wrong time because it feels so obvious. Now interest rates are going down. This is going to be this sector, this fund, this part of the economy is going to be doing better, so I got to make a trade. And most people just don't get that right going in or coming out. So you got to have the right portfolio, the right funds, and at the end of the day, Don, you just don't want to mess around with them. Well, that's the thing.
And here's the thing. We forget that the market is hundreds of millions of people globally, all of whom have access to very similar information. Very few of them have access to something that no one else has. So therefore, they all know the same thing is likely to occur in the future before it occurs. So rather than wait for it to occur to invest in those things that they think are going to be great, they buy them ahead of time. That's called building in expectations. The market is an anticipatory device. So if the only time the market reacts, surprisingly, is when there is something that nobody expected. When it's surprised.
Yeah. News that was not anticipated.
Right. And remember, most of the news that you know as an individual investor. Okay. Let me say, unless you're a cheater, all of the news that you know as an individual investor.
Everybody else knows.
Everybody else knows. Not only do they know it, but they probably knew it. Many of them probably knew it way before you did.
Yeah, and there are major institutions that spend millions of dollars a year knowing that.
Trying to scrape that information before you can get it.
Exactly.
Get your hands on it. They'll grab the Business Week, which is now monthly.
Hate that thing.
But the minute it hits the web or the whatever, wherever the first place it publishes, they're going to look before you look. Everything that can be known is known before you know it. So there's no way, get over yourself. You can't beat the market, and we prove it time after time with statistics like these.
And so again, we still believe in index funds, be it mutual funds or 100 years, a long time, or index fund or index exchange traded funds. What we don't believe in is moving them around, building the right asset allocation, rebalancing perhaps from time to time, but ignoring all of the noise, which is, I think today worse than it's ever been. So prevalent, so many places, you just can't ignore it.
Well, because there's so much media.
Yeah, it's everywhere.
No. You have the old mainstream media, the regular kind of media, the papers and the TV networks. But now you have all of this internet stuff. You have all of these people on social media. You have far more self-proclaimed experts than ever before, and the amount of information is enough to, confound you at the very least.
I think it's confusing for most.
Which means you probably, no, again, I shouldn't say probably. I'm just going to go absolute. You shouldn't pay any attention to it. You just shouldn't.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be watching CNBC. Even for entertainment, because we know that even if you watch it for entertainment, even if you're steeled against the powerful emotional effects of their interviews and statements, even when you are just as tough as you can be, you're still going to be swayed somewhat
they're smart.
By it.
They know how to bring people in. They know how to get you all excited. It's investment cheesecake over and over again. And remember, their job is to keep those eyeballs, whether it is the Wall Street Journal or CNBC or Bloomberg Business Week. That's their job, right?
So they're not Business Month.
They're not going to, thank you. They're not going to just put something generic up there because they know that does not sell. So you've got to, I love what you said. You've got to, you can read it as entertainment. You cannot read it as, help.
But you see, what I'm saying, I'm taking it one step further, is I would suggest you don't read it or watch it or listen to it as entertainment even. Because most of the financial channels are are sponsored by,
Yeah.
Are supported by
all the same people
whose future, whose money depends on making you do something. If they don't make you do something, they don't make money. That's why there are so many people in the commissioned end of the sales industry and so few in the fee only end of the industry. There's that call to action that makes you do things that you otherwise probably wouldn't do. 855-935-TALK. Call us at that number.
Tom and Don are talking real money. For your real life and real future, Tom and Don are talking real money.
It is the money information you need that we are providing here. We really believe that. We are trying to give you a different take on managing money.
And we're not trying to sell you anything.
Okay. Now let's be totally clear.
Brutally honest.
We do have a business.
Yes, we do.
That we're part of.
Yep.
And would we love for you to be a client?
Maybe.
Yes.
I just talked to a guy this
but
morning.
But we do turn people away.
I said, no, you just go own this fund, own these three funds. You don't need to pay. You don't pay anybody because you don't need to do that. Yeah. So he was surprised, but that does happen on a regular basis.
We believe something, and I know in this environment we live in, we kind of believe that being honest is really truly the best policy. That we'll tell you we do manage money for money, but can you do it without us? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Can you do it better than you're doing it with the people you have? Oh yeah, absolutely. 855-935-TALK is our phone number. Stephanie, thanks for calling and welcome to the show.
Thank you for your time and all your expert advice. And the money information I need, please, is during probate, when the house and the estate is liquidated, where is that money put until the final distribution? And should it go into a certain account, type of account? Is there more than one option? And if so, sir, what would be the best type of account to hold these monies in?
Well, generally, it goes into an estate account
that the attorney has.
Mm-hmm. So it would generally go to the person probating the estate. They would move it in. So there really are. And generally, even if you're a beneficiary of that estate, you don't have very many options. That would be up to the trustee or the executor.
Usually what happens is the lawyer will help, or the executor during the probate process will open a bank account. So that as those assets are converted into cash, they go into that bank account, and then the executor, and often that bank account is done in conjunction with the attorney because the attorney knows, but the executor can do it on their own. The executor has a lot of power.
Yep.
And the executor will open this bank account and then from that distribute those assets as they're liquidated based on the wishes of the will.
So if you're, as I say, a beneficiary, you have very little say or almost no power to say, I want to be in this type of account.
Unless the court gives you power, you have none.
No.
Does that help?
I see. And it certainly does. And it also brings up another question, please. And thank you for that answer. I am the executor of the will. And the problem is that I'm becoming curious about is where did this money go? Because I was told by the attorney to be held in the escrow account and stay there until the judge releases it. But what happened is a couple of days ago, this estate is, 95% liquidated. Just a little bit more to go. Where is this money? Come to find out, it's in an IOLTA account, which I didn't know anything about, and the attorney took it upon himself to do all these things and put it where he wanted. And I have red flags. Any advice?
Yeah, and just for those who don't know, an IOLTA the name is an interest on lawyers' trust account.
Yeah, it's not unusual.
And this is the kind of account we're talking about where they'll hold funds. But as the executor, you have more power than the attorney has.
You should be able to see that money.
So you should be able to see it, and you should also be able to dictate that it moves somewhere else. With you as the account owner.
And in some cases, since you're the executor, a personal representative, you can be the one that says, well, we have 95% of the money and we can move some of the money to other people in other places. That power is yours. So, yeah, if you're feeling uncomfortable, I would call the attorney and tell him, hey, we got to sit down and figure this out.
And the time, and I'm not, we're neither one of us attorneys, but from my memory, the IOLTA accounts are used more often for distribution to charities.
Didn't know that.
That are called for in the will. Because of the control issues. But I would talk to the attorney and say, I'm going to be distributing this soon, but can't we be earning 5% in a high yield savings account?
Which is readily available today.
Yeah, 4.5 or 4.
I see. And is there someone I could talk to about an option other than the IOLTA? So when I have this conversation, there's probably costs to these.
No, there shouldn't really. The lawyer may charge you some money for their work per hour to move it, but you should just talk to your attorney and say, I want a high interest account.
Tom and Don are talking real money. Reality radio for a really great future. We're talking real money.
All it takes is to get rid of summer. That's all you have to do. Get rid of summer.
Don't do it. Come on. We need a little more sun here.
You're done. You're not getting any more. I'm sorry. Well, at least I'm hoping you're not getting any more.
No, that's not true because you still have a few more days at the Zay Marge and you're going to want to get in that lake.
Zay Marge. I don't even know what. No, I don't want to get in that lake. It's cold.
You're going to get in that lake.
I'm not getting in that
I'm getting
lake.
my grandson, so I'll make sure to drag you in there.
I'm not doing it. Going to Olympia. We are, by the way, going to continue the Airstream adventure.
Oh, that's true. You are.
We decided we got it fixed and we're heading south.
Beautiful.
So we're going to start in
Warmer
Olympia.
climes.
Olympia.
Yeah. Okay.
And where I'll be doing the show next week from Olympia.
Yeah.
And then going to Oregon, Idaho, Utah, Colorado. I might.
Do you have to go to Oregon? Is that required?
Well,
Can't you just turn and head?
Just to stop for
east?
sleeping.
Okay.
Just to stop for sleeping.
Putting that out there.
Yes, I might actually even go to my high school reunion. I have decided.
I think you should, but my dad loved his 50th.
I'm not going to love my 50th. I don't. I don't know. No, I might.
You said
go.
yesterday at lunch you didn't want to go. You should stick to your principles.
No, because I'm waffling all over the place.
Boy, are you ever!
855-935-TALK is our phone. 50th anniversary.
It's kind of scary, actually, if you think about
that number.
No, I try not to because mine's not that far away. So.
Anyway, let's go back to the phone, shall we? 855-935-TALK is our number. Jerry, thanks so much for calling. Welcome to the program.
Very much. I listen to you intermittently, but today I have a need. My wife and I are in our mid-70s, and we're downsizing our home and our life. And we have an office building and a patient home that we want to sell. Total of about $3 million net. And we wanted to know what to do with it. We have IRAs through Vanguard Advisor Services, and we're very comfortable with that. And what would one do in our fortunate situation like this? So what would you do with $3 million that just dropped in your lap? At this,
I would first not tell Don because he'd try to figure out a way to spend it. So that's a no-brainer.
Anyway, no. See, and this is where we differ from almost everybody everywhere. We don't like to tell people where to put money when it drops into their lap. It's the number one question we get.
It is.
But the reality is there are about a couple of dozen questions that we would want answered before we would ever attempt to tell someone where to put money.
Things like, okay, so I think what you intuited was, I'm not going to need this money. That's kind of what I heard. Downsizing.
But you got to ask
I mean, are you going to need any part of this in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years, 50, et cetera, et cetera? Is this going to be charitable in some way? I mean, there's a whole bunch of things, or do you want to leave it to others? Whole bunch of things anybody would need to know rather than just saying, I'll just go put it in the S&P 500 or whatever.
Or a balanced portfolio or a target date fund. This is serious money.
Yeah.
When we're getting into seven figures, we are really talking about serious money for most Americans. That's serious money.
Yeah.
And serious money should be taken very, very seriously.
You really should sit down with a fee-only 100% fiduciary advisor.
I really believe that most of the financial services industry, and I believe this based on decades of experience, that most of the financial services industry is doing their clients a huge disservice by making it appear that there's a correct answer to this question.
That is a great point, because if you called any of the major brokerages on Monday and said, "Hi, I got this situation. Could I talk to somebody?" I can guarantee
I'll put together a portfolio for you.
I know that, and they would have ideas. Listen, you need to know about this because here's what's going to happen. That's exactly the kind of advice we do not want you to get. A good planner instead is going to say, "Let's look at everything you've got. Let's figure out the purpose of this money. What's going to be important to you and your wife for the next 20 years? Where's this fit in?" Then design a portfolio for you instead of the other way around.
And now we've pretty much lost your cell.
You sound like you're at my house.
Yeah, it sounds like the cell at Tom's new house.
Yeah, lovely.
We can't hear you. We're just hearing like bits and pieces of words.
You can call us back
Jerry.
later if you're in a better place.
Yeah, but really seriously, the best advice we can give anybody, particularly anybody at your point in life,
indeed, it's a point of inflection.
Where the money is so important now going forward. This is it. You're not earning anymore, except the growth on your money. You're not working for it. You're not real estate managing. You're not doing all these things. So the thing is it has to be taken beyond seriously. And I think most of the investment industry is too trite. It's just, they take the easy path because they want to move on to the next client. You need to find a couple of fee only. If they sell insurance, you need to read their Form ADV Part 2 online. Matter of fact, go to talkingrealmoney.com/help. There are some guides to helping you pick out an advisor. There are some. There aren't a lot. Most aren't.
Tom and Don are talking real money.
Do you suffer from hodgepodgeitis? I'm Don McDonald, and hodgepodgeitis is a disease of your investment portfolio whose symptoms include lots of stocks, loads of random loaded mutual funds, and maybe an annuity or two. Most who suffer from hodgepodgeitis dread opening their quarterly portfolio statements. They feel lost and confused. Investing seems overwhelming and the financial future uncertain. If you believe you suffer from hodgepodgeitis, see a 100% fiduciary investment advisor immediately. A proper diagnosis is the first step to creating a portfolio with a purpose based on a personal plan. Start on the road to recovery now by scheduling a free meeting with an Appella advisor at TalkingRealMoney.com. There is no cost, obligation, or high-pressure sales pitch. Take the first step at TalkingRealMoney.com or call 800-386-3004. Hodgepodgeitis is not a real disease, but treating it has been shown to improve mood, reduce fear, and even lead to a brighter financial future. Results may vary.
Your guides to a really great financial future. Tom and Don are talking real money.
The real financial issues that we all deal with all the time, discussed on this show. The biggest one, of course, being the confusing world of investing for your future, trying to enjoy a decent retirement or get your kids to college or buy a house or sell a house or put that money somewhere. 855-935-TALK is our number. We do have lines open, but a lot of calls are coming in. Thank you, Weather. And Dave, welcome to Talking Real Money.
Hi there. Yes, I think I've been listening to Don way back even in the 90s when he was like 12 years old.
Is that the 1990s or is that the 1890s? Which would that be?
Ladies and gentlemen, please raise your hand if you've heard that joke before on Talking Real Money.
Seeing no hands, I'm going to let Dave proceed.
Anyway, yeah, it's an education. But have there been any studies that have actually looked at the best lazy man's portfolio? Let's say if he just had like like an S&P, maybe a little bit in a dividend fund and a little bit in a international, versus a lot of these financial planners are advising 5 and 6 and 7 components into your IRA. So we're just talking IRA money.
Well, a lot of that's why target date funds were invented.
Yeah. But let's just get to the core of this because it's an important thing. Because what you mentioned, I think I heard you say something about the S&P 500, a dividend fund, and an international fund. Now, part one of that is not in our minds, nor does the research show enough diversification. You need to have small. You need to have value. You need to, and even if you were using those three funds, we would not recommend a dividend fund because that again is going to be mostly the S&P 500, but now you're just overweighting to the companies that pay dividends, and those haven't been the most successful. So your point is well taken. Do you we've talked about this on the program. Could you just go buy AVGE or DFAW?
Yeah,
Maybe.
But if you want the perfect lazy, simple, I don't ever want to do anything portfolio.
That's a different matter.
See, that's truly lazy. Kick your feet up, never think again. Is something like a target date.
And you could take it one step further. Our friend Paul Merriman says use that plus the 20% small.
Now you've taken it from lazy to you have to rebalance.
That's true. You would have to at least once a year.
Yeah. So if you never
the laziest, easiest would be the target date.
That's
I guess
what I want to say.
Okay. That's fair. So you just pick a year that matches your asset allocation and
your
remember
risk tolerance,
and it's going to change.
Right.
That's the other thing. So it's going to become less stock heavy and more bond heavy over time. That's something to keep in mind as well. But that's the best that we could tell you. And by the way, financial advisors who recommend many funds, should you believe them? I think you, in most cases, yes, if they're fee only 100% fiduciaries. All those other funds should add something to the portfolio. Again, the aforementioned small, the aforementioned value, discounted international stocks, even things that are a little bit, might feel a little bit out there, like momentum, some things like that add little bits of return and in some cases reduce volatility. So those things are legit, but Don's right. If you just want to kick your feet up and watch the Broncos lose again every Sunday, that'd be the target date fund would be the one.
He watches the Seahawks lose.
No, I never. The Seahawks? No.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think he's from Seattle.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. And the thing is
that information, guys.
Let me make it even easier for you. When it comes to target date funds, nobody does it cheaper than Vanguard.
Yeah. And that's a good point.
They're 0.8%.
What about using Dimensional's 60-40 fund? Because that's going to be...
Depends on for whom it is.
Yeah, but that would also be one where you wouldn't have to do anything.
It won't glide path.
No, it will not glide path. It will stay in that 60-40. Yeah, that's a good point. So if you use a Vanguard balanced index, for example...
I'm just saying, he asked for the ultimate lazy portfolio, and that's target date.
Yeah.
Okay. Good luck. Thanks for the call, Dave.
It's a great question.
Thanks for listening since the 90s. Although I've been on the radio in Seattle since the 80s. Tom programmed me in 1988.
That's true, by the way.
He was the program director of my station.
I can remember the days. The Don McDonald show.
No, it was Ways and Means Committee in 88.
But then it became very quickly the Don McDonald.
Yes, it was. Because people went, what? No, I want
Ways to the Means?
Ways and Means? What is that? Sounds political. I want that Don McDonald show. So we went, they keep asking for that Don McDonald show. Maybe we should just change it to
those were fun times.
90 stations across the country with Business Radio Network. And we have lines open for you at 855-935-TALK. And we have Scott awaiting us. Scott, welcome to the program.
Hi, thank you very much. Hi, Tom and Don.
Hey, hi.
Hey, Tom, thank you very much for sending. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Thanks, Tom, for sending me out those books, Don's books, the financial physics for my sons. I appreciate it.
Our absolute pleasure. Get them going young, man. You know that's one of our big things.
He's killing my royalties.
He didn't make a nickel on those. So.
It was funny. I got my son set up an AVGE, with the Roth IRA. He's 23, but I got him going at 22.
Yeah.
And recently, like when the market just took a downturn, he came out to me and he said, "Hey, Dad, do you think this is a good time to invest?" And I said, "Okay, he's getting it now."
You got it.
He wasn't trying to sell. Cheers.
A downturn is the time to get in.
Yeah, beautiful. That's what we want to hear.
Yep. So he's getting it. But that's one of my questions here is I'm 60 years old. And I'm considering retiring. I think I'm financially fit due to your help and others. And I don't want to work anymore. But the problem I have is healthcare. Healthcare is kind of like a sticky point, right? Because I'm 60, going to be 60 and a half in October. So I still have, 4 years away before Medicare kicks in.
Right.
Now, I've looked at other programs like getting, normal, health care through Blue Cross Blue Shield or, United Healthcare or whatever. But I'm missing something. I've even looked at these healthcare companies, sharing companies like MediShare. That seems really attractive, but I seem to be missing a puzzle piece that would get me through 60 to 65. And my sons are still living at home with me, and I have a wife. And they're 20 and 23, not quite yet on their own. And, they're working part-time, so they don't have a job yet to give them full benefit pay. Because
I'm trying to read between the lines. What you're saying is, there should be some program for you that you're unaware of? Is that what I'm hearing?
I think so. Am I missing anything other than like a health sharing? Healthcare
I would steer so clear. I would steer so clear of those MediShare things, because they are not protected. Should there be some dramatic claims against the network, and boy, they can be as good as they want to be at actuarial calculations, but look at what happened with the long-term care industry. They thought they had the numbers down 10, 20 years ago.
Wasn't even close.
And they weren't even close. Yeah. They they practically went they were on the brink of bankruptcy.
Quit writing policies, argued every
Here's
expense.
The reality. Yeah. You want to retire at 60, you do like I did when I was an entrepreneur in my 40s. You pay $2,000 a month for private health care.
There really is no other option that we are aware of. This comes up regularly with people that want to, quote unquote, retire early and have the assets. They say, well, we've got the money. That's right. But how do we bridge between, as you said, Scott, 60 years old and Medicare at 65?
Right.
We're unaware of some trick to all that.
And then the trick is to do an HSA.
Yeah, that's
with
true.
A high deductible plan. That's a great trick that will get your premiums way down. The other thing is to go an even higher deductible and self-insure your big fat deductible. Don't use get catastrophic health insurance.
In other words,
and put enough money aside to pay for $15,000-$20,000 of expenses in a year, and only have the insurance in case of the disastrous diagnosis. So there's not anything else. I would be really, really cautious of these medical sharing things, because I'd be willing to bet that several of them are going to go broke.
Tom and Don are talking real money. For your real life and real future, Tom and Don are talking real money.
And you can call us every Saturday from noon until 2 Pacific time, 3 to 5 Eastern at 855-935-TALK, and we can actually have conversations. They're lovely. Otherwise, you can go to talkingrealmoney.com and send your question in or speak it in. And by the way, we are almost caught up on all those typed and spoken questions
Start
for the summer.
them.
And we were overwhelmed, and now I think we have 3 spoken ones and just a couple written ones. So, but Tom does have one of the written ones we'll do real quickly before the hour runs out.
Well, because it relates to our topic that we started the hour with about index funds. If you invest in index funds, the returns have been good, but people have a tendency to underproduce the return of the fund for a variety of reasons, much of it behavioral. Because David from Homewood, Alabama writes, I heard you and many others talk about the difference between investor returns and fund returns. If you're dollar cost averaging into a fund, your returns will be by definition lower than the fund return. Do you have any idea how much this fact drives the delta, the difference between investor and mutual fund returns?
It doesn't really. It doesn't, because your return on the fund, let's say you put $100 a month in. Your return on that $100 from January 1 will be whatever that period is if you leave it there. The next month, it'll be whatever it is for that period. It's not changing the reported number that Morningstar gives, because the number is going to be from where you start investing until X date in the future. That will be your return. And if you stay the whole time, that will also be your investor return. They will match.
And so therefore, again, as we said at the top of the hour, using the right instruments, index funds, yes, you can dollar cost average because that's what we all do when we're saving, but then not messing around with things, not reacting to whatever's going on. And that's the problem generally, people. It's behavioral. That's what I was trying to say.
And the whole thing about, I think that you're thinking that you're leaving money. The reason your return will be lower is because you're leaving money sitting there and then adding it to your portfolio over a period of months or years, we think that's a mistake.
Indeed.
That is not how dollar cost averaging should work. You shouldn't, if you have money that is supposed to go into the market that is earmarked for that kind of volatility, it should go in immediately because the market goes up more than it goes down.
75% of the months. It's about 50-50 when you look at days. And that's where people get psyched out because they're like, well, yesterday it went way down. Yes.
Yeah.
But then look at a little longer term. It has an upward motion to it. So it's scary sometimes.
Yeah. So the only time you should dollar cost average is when you're putting in money from your paycheck every 2 weeks or month or wherever.
Otherwise,
you
you're costing yourself money.
Right. You should not dollar cost average otherwise.
And it comes up a lot from people like the caller we had earlier. I just got the $3 million. What should I do?
I think it makes them more comfortable because they think, well, I'm going to put some in when it's going down. Yeah, I'm going to put some in when it's going down too. Well, but you're going to put more in when it's going up.
Yeah.
Or it has gone up.
Or we're at record highs. I don't want to invest now because we're at record highs.
Right. I'll just do it more slowly.
Yeah.
That is you destroying your return and getting that lower result.
Exactly.
You are making your return lower.
Yeah. By not properly being invested every single day. Every single day. No exception.
Ask us your questions. 855-935-TALK. 855-935-8255. It's so easy. You can also, while you're there at TalkingRealMoney.com, if you'd like to spend a little time with one of our advisors at truly no cost, no obligation. We've been doing this for 15 years now. No cost, no obligation, no high pressure sales pitch. Just go to TalkingRealMoney.com and look for that button there that says meet an advisor.
Click.
The opinions and views expressed on this podcast were current on the date recorded. Opinions, estimates, forecasts, and statements of financial market trends that are based on current market conditions constitute our judgment and are subject to change without notice, including any forward-looking estimates or statements which are based on certain expectations and assumptions. Although information and opinions given have been obtained from or based on sources believed to be reliable, no warranty or representation is made as to their correctness, completeness, or accuracy. Information presented on the podcast is not personalized investment advice from Appella Wealth. The views and strategies described may not be suitable for everyone. This podcast does not identify all the risks, direct or indirect, or other considerations which might be material to you when entering any financial transaction. Past performance does not guarantee future results, and profitable results cannot be guaranteed. We hope you realize that the information provided on Talking Real Money is for informational, educational, and hopefully enjoyable purposes only. The podcast is not trying to get you to buy or sell any financial products or securities. Instead, the program is provided as a public service by Appella Wealth, a fee-only registered investment advisor. Please see Appella Wealth's ADV Part 2A on our website for information regarding Appella's fees and services. Appella Capital, LLC, DBA Appella Wealth, is an investment advisory firm registered with the Securities and Exchange Commission. The firm only transacts business in the states where it is properly registered or excluded or exempt from registration requirements. Registration with the SEC or any state securities authority does not imply a certain level of skill or training. Appella does not provide tax or legal advice, and nothing either stated or implied here should be inferred as providing such advice. Thanks for listening, and please visit TalkingRealMoney.com for more information and important disclosure related to performance of any specific index or fund quoted in this podcast. And the lawyers get richer.